Prateet Spencer, IO Foods.
Fred Spencer, IO Foods.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, I have the married and very happy couple from Chicago, IO Foods. And you guys, this food is African food, so you already know I'm ready to chop. I'm ready to see how my brother and sister in Chicago got into the African food market, because I was looking on their LinkedIn and looking, I'm saying, I don't see Niger, I don't see Cameroon, I don't see that on the this. So what do you know about jollof rice? What do they know about the cassava? They're going to give us a game. They're going to give us a game. But more importantly, they're going to show you that their food is also in like Fresh Market. I looked at the website. I can go get some of their products at Fresh Market. You go look on their website, see where the products are in your area. Welcome to the show. How are y'all both doing today?
We're doing really well. Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And, can you tell us why African food? Because some folks just, looking at it like African food, give us that good old American or give us that soul food. Why did you guys choose to do African food?
Well, in your introduction, you forgot a Liberian jollof. And I won't start that debate today. But I mean, it really started at home. So my family's from Liberia, grew up eating a ton of really, really delicious food. And, there's, I'd say, two challenges with having some of our favorite dishes on like a Tuesday night. So if in our house, cassava leaf is the favorite. It takes many, many hours to prepare because it's a lot of slow cook layered flavors. And it's hard to find the ingredients. Like you can find it, but you're making a specialty trip to a specialty market to be able to get the ingredients. And so for us, it was about bringing that convenience to the middle of the week so that we could enjoy our favorite dishes any time of day.
Yeah, and I would say too, my introduction to African food was, prior to me married into this Liberian family that I'm so proud to be a part of today. But it just actually expanded my knowledge and my experience with African food once I married Prateet and introduced to her family. I would say, the food is amazing, and Prateet and I had talked about this for quite some time, is that we just don't see this in the marketplace, and it should be, especially African Americans and Africans together should be celebrating and experiencing this food.
And I'm married to an African too. So when he said he married into the family, you literally marry into the family. And that takes some adjusting. I mean, it's been 14, 15 years. I'm still adjusting, and I've known him for almost 20. So, I'm going to give you that round of applause for.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to cook these dishes, and I get it. I have to drive an hour sometimes to get, the aru, the goosey, the different things that we need here. But then to put it together and get it approval so you can sell it into the stores. I mean, I'm waiting for y'all to get on Shark Tank with all the work you've already put in. How long did that process take? Walk the people through, some of those steps for those who say, oh, I want to do my food next. You might want to call them so they can help you with the packaging and distribution. That's a lot of work. Give us the game, please.
Yeah, I would be remiss if we didn't mention that, our experiences, Prateet has, close to 15 to 20 years experience in CPG. So that experience alone has really catapulted us to be able to, be as successful as we are. And just to go back onto your Shark Tank thing, I think we probably a little bit past the Shark Tank. So hopefully at some point you don't see us on Shark Tank. But Prateet, I'll let you finish and, expand on what I just said.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good point. You know, before we launched, so we launched July of 2020 in the thick of the pandemic. And I think people see kind of the launch and the trajectory from the launch, but they actually don't see all the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes even to get to the launch point.
Yeah.
And so I think we had been working collectively on IO for probably 3 years prior. Even from just like thinking about it as a concept and an idea and how we wanted it to come to life, but then actually transitioning it to making it a real product that could be sold on shelves. And so we spent many months,
Yeah.
lots of our own personal dollars.
Yeah,
like,
still working on other full-time positions
Yeah.
as well. I think the biggest hurdle was, and we weren't willing to compromise on this, was finding the right partner to actually help produce the food and scale it up. It took us a long time to find that partner, so that's what took us so much time to get to market, is because we had to find the right partner to keep this process for the traditional food consistent. And I would say that part was the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't fast foods to prepare, so you can't just like whip up some agouti in 15 minutes. And so we wanted to protect the integrity of the dishes, and that meant protecting all of the ingredients, all of the cooking processes. And so, the freshness, the length of time it takes to get the flavors right, that was all really, really important to us, and something that took a long time to find the right partner to like prepare it the right way, in a way that we would be proud of, kind of representing ourselves on shelves across the country. And so we spent a good kind of 3 years just getting it kind of ready to have retail discussions. All of the extra cash that we had coming in, we kind of poured it into IO. We tapped into savings, poured all that into IO. And then we finally got our first retail commitment from Whole Foods. I think funny story is that when we got that commitment, we were still working through kind of production partners. But that became a trigger point to actually have someone commit to making the food for us. And so the rest is kind of history. So we'll be in close to 4,000 doors by the end of this year. A broad number of retailers, and we're just getting started.
Can you let the people know, just a short little history, how you guys met? There was a rumor out there, and I'm starting it. That's what I mean by that. that you had the consumer packaged goods thing, and that besides Fred's smile and being nice, you married him because he's a genius in finance and has the degrees to prove it. How did y'all meet, and did you guys always know you were going to do business together?
Well, I'd say that's a little bit true in terms of like finance genius and big smile. We actually met similar to you. We met in college. So we go way back.
Yeah.
And definitely the initial like spark from him was his mind. So I saw that way back then, and I think we complemented each other in a lot of ways. And I think we've been able to push each other throughout our relationship. So, he was a finance undergrad, I was marketing undergrad. We both then went on to business school where we were able to hone those crafts. And then, I don't know if we would have thought we would have been in exactly this seat today, like working side by side, or in our case, back to back in our office.
Yeah.
But we've always had very complementary skill sets. And so I think that lent itself well to like pouring the best of both of us to make some like a kind of 1 + 1 = 3 type of situation.
Yeah, we've always saw that connection too. Like she said, like what she said, as far as like having complementary, that happens with us for business and personal in our marriage too. That we kind of complement each other. I'm more out there, she's more reserved, that type of thing. So that's what helps us get through this. And I don't know if we thought that we would be in business for one company together, but we knew we were going to do some kind of transactions in business, whether it be real estate, which is really my background in finance. But when we were in college, one of the things when I first met Pratik, I saw her, she's from Minnesota. And I'm from Chicago, but I went to high school in Minnesota. And so when we came back to Chicago for school, I saw her in the Mall of America, and I was like, I think that girl goes to my school. And then like the next like time school started back, I was a junior and she was a sophomore, and we ended up being neighbors. And my roommate actually introduced us. And so when she first said I'm from Minnesota, I was like, I knew I saw you at the Mall of America. And so that's how it all started.
Man, that sounds like a Roots song. Yeah, so yeah, don't get me to start rapping and singing because I will do both parts. Now, with the expansion and getting on the shelves, and again, that's not easy to do at all. You've picked some stores that are very high end. I go into Fresh Market and I spent like a whole paycheck. I go into Whole Foods, I spend next week's paycheck. Why those stores in particular?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think a couple of things. I think one, as you look at kind of the assortments in those stores, you can see a lot of the food is like more heritage international flavors, but our food was just like notably absent from those shelves. And so one of the things we talk about a lot is you should be able to walk into any store and see food that like reflects your experience. So even if you go into the Fresh Market and spend your whole paycheck, you should be able to find something that like reminds you of like who you are. And so for us, I think it was important to be able to bring that to that kind of class of retail. I think the other thing is like these are not kind of quick and fast kind of dishes that we've put together. So they are kind of premium in terms of the marketplace. And so we wanted to partner with retailers that had kind of equally premium assortments. And so it felt very natural to be in that class of retailers. But I would also say, we see this as a gap in the marketplace. And so we want you to walk into like any store and be able to see IO. And so we've started making really good progress to that. So I'd say, well, we are in the Fresh Market and some higher end retailers. We're also in kind of more mass retailers. So we just launched at Target this past week.
We also in Kroger, pretty much nationally. So we're getting there. We backed into what our price points and costs were, and we had a deliverable from a price point perspective. And we saw that, the market, who in the market initially would accept that price point. And so that's kind of how we started, but we're starting to get economies and grow. And so that way we can kind of push, price point a little bit better in what we would say the traditional grocery stores are. So.
Now, I went on the site and I almost started to cry because I said, wait, hold on, products are sold out. And because I was really going to front. My wife was going to come one day and I was going to have a dish I've never prepared for. Like, how do you do that? And just, as kids, throw the boxes here and buy enough. And I put this together. Are we able to order directly from your site, or do we need to tell, our local stores that are carrying some of your products, we also want you to carry this and just keep hounding them? What can we do to help, bring more products to the stores?
Yeah. I would go ahead.
I would say both.
Yeah,
and so I think for us, we want to expand our geographic footprint. I think we've made a ton of headway. And so we're in well more than 50% of the states. I haven't done the count, but we're making really, really good progress. But I know we haven't made it down to where you are in Florida just yet. And so beyond the Fresh Market. So I think our frozen is not there yet. So I'd say continue to ask your retailers for IO in the stores that you shop in. We want to make sure we're there.
And I think we may be hitting Target Florida pretty soon as we expand on the stores with Target. Hopefully within the next couple of months. I don't know specifically which stores in which area, but I think we will be in Florida pretty soon over the next couple of months. So.
And then I'd say give us a couple of weeks and we'll be back up in stock on the website. Those are going to be bigger order sizes just because we want to keep pricing reasonable for folks, and everything gets shipped frozen overnight on dry ice. And so that will be up and running in the next couple of weeks. We had a massive influx of orders, particularly as the two new dishes, our two newest launches that we launched in partnership with Chef Eric. Ajapong launched. But as we get restocked in those in the next couple of weeks, you'll also be able to order 6, 8, and 12 packs online too.
Okay, I was worried that I had talked too much about you guys prior to this interview, and that my brothers and my guys and my clients would be like, yo, they ordered everything. Because I said, man, because that's something I would have thought, like, let me get enough of this. So when you say premium, because I want people to, you know, when it does come back, and this will, by the time this comes out, hopefully it will be there. And I may coordinate something with you guys to kind of say, hey, will it be out by this time? You know, what are those premium prices for a box? Because I want to prep people's mind. You don't have to sell yourself short. You need to make a profit. So for a box of jollof rice, which that would have been my first order, followed by the cassava, like what does a box of that cost inside the store or directly from the site?
$49.99. No, I'm just no, I'm just kidding. So they're super reasonably priced with kind of other frozen items in the line. So most retailers will have it priced at $5.99. So it's $5.99 at Whole Foods.
Oh, awesome. Okay, they got to get hit and bothered and say Fresh Market has it. Well, you know, I don't want to keep going and spending my whole check there. And I say my whole check, you guys, because as an entrepreneur, I don't pay myself much. That's what you know, it's all a game. It's all a game.
I think we lost you on the sound.
Oh, you lost me on sound? Can you hear me now?
Yep. There you go.
Okay. You know, with all the success that you're having and the best is yet to come, what is a community give back that you are doing or that you would like to do in the future?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the community piece was actually what inspired the brand. And so it was not something that we thought about doing in the future, but really thought about like, how do we build a company that is built around kind of the give back? And so for us, step one to be able to do that was effectively create scalable demand for all of these products and ingredients. But that's always front and center for us. You know, one thing that one initiative that we launched late last year that we don't talk about as much, but we're really, really proud of is a project called the Moon Boy Project. Moon Boy translates to prosperity in Pele, which is my dad's tribe. And it's all about kind of inspiring or giving back to the communities that inspired the brand. So our inaugural kind of project as a part of Moon Boy is the IO Girl Power Farm. And so we've invested in about 15 acres of farmland in Monrovia that's actively being kind of converted to usable farmland. And the yield of that is actually going to be used to give women who were victims of the Civil War a fresh start. And so we're actually starting to see that yield come out now, which is really, really exciting. If you go to our website, you can see some pictures. And that, like I said, that yield will be able to kind of empower women to start businesses of their own, be it soaps from the palm oil or, you know, cassava leaf that they can sell in Monrovia, really giving them the seed capital to get a fresh start for their families.
Yeah, and if you go to our website, you can get more information on Girl Power Africa, which is our partner in this endeavor. And, you know, if you're interested in, you know, helping them and help us help them, you know, you can get more information on our website from that. So.
Now, Africa, it's on everybody's lips. I'm processing my paperwork right now for Sierra Leone citizenship. You know, my wife being from Cameroon, you know, we have some things going on there and, you know, just we're active. Can Jumia get this product and can Amazon get this product? Because some folks say, hey, man, I just want to, you know, have the drones come drop the food off and, you know, parachute it down, whether it's Jumia or Amazon, the Amazon of Africa, right? Any plans for, you know, those two big powerhouses to have your food and products there?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, for sure. We're trying to expand not only Amazon and Juvia, but we are also trying to get international as well, Canada, the UK. So we're working in conjunction with raising additional capital to make sure we can hit be universal across the world if we can. So we're trying to build this brand as big as possible, and so we're definitely going to see us on Amazon pretty soon.
Uh-oh, the vultures watch my show. So instead you cast, Shark Tank. Now the vultures going to ask, hey, Kellen, are they taking investment? Because they're always looking for a deal. Capital-wise, if somebody did want to invest, what would be the proper steps to, do that?
Well, I would just say, to answer that question is, so just for clarity, we initially put in our own capital. We have since done an initial raise, a pre-seed raise, or seed raise of about 1.5 million. We're slowly deciding what our next raise is going to be. We think that it's going to be within the next 6 to 8 months. But as far as individuals out there that want to invest, we have info@io.com on our website. If you can send your information there, we'll have somebody get back to you and respond to you.
Okay, and a teachable moment for the entrepreneurs out there who say, "Ooh, 1.5, that sounds like a lot of money." Fred, your cousin, we don't want to say if his last name is Fiasco or West, but you being from Chicago, was that, friends and family, or was, that angel investors, VC? How did you guys do that?
Yes, our initial seed came from two investors. One, our lead investor was actually Cast Us, which is part of Cleveland Avenue, and Cleveland Avenue is headed by Don Thompson, who's a former CEO of McDonald's.
Okay, I told you he has big names behind him. You guys thought I was playing. I do my research. This man is connected like the mob. Uh-oh, you're from Chicago. Hold on, I don't mean it like that. I mean it like, it's go ahead.
No, what I will say though is we're incredibly grateful that we found partners who believed in us early and helped us get to this stage. Because the reality is access to capital is one of the biggest barriers to more businesses like ours scaling and growing and reaching their full potential. And so, that was a whole process in itself. Neither one of us had gone through kind of major fundraising major fundraising processes in the past. But we do feel very fortunate that we found investors who saw the potential in us and in this proposition to be able to bring it to life, because we know that that is rare for many of our communities.
And I would say too, when they saw and believed in us, it was because we had our stuff together too. We were prepared, and then the food tastes great. It tastes amazing. So once we had Cleveland Avenue, kind of taste the dishes, they were like, yeah, this definitely should, be in the world, and we want to help you guys do that. So
now, you guys have your own kitchen factory yet? And I'm asking that because there's so many people who are trying to do this. But I had a friend of mine who's been on the show before, and she was like, I'm getting tired of this. Almost like, you want the keys? And she's like, I need help with the putting it together. My recipes are great, but I need basically help because I can't do it all myself. And through COVID, we've all lost some people, whether they've gone to get better jobs or they're no longer here. Is that something maybe in the future, young entrepreneurs can come and say, I got a great recipe, I've proven it, you guys have a factory or your own commercial kitchen, can we do business? Is that even something that's possible?
And so to answer your question, no, we don't have our own factory as of yet. We think that that's in the plan for the future, but we don't know for sure at this time. But I would say how we started off, and I think most small CPG brand companies start is using a co-manufacturer. And so we started that way with a co-manufacturer. We've expanded to 3 different ones today, but I think that's the definitely the easier route as you scale up is to find a co-manufacturer to help you with the process. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, for us, we had to start at that level because we're frozen, and so commercial kitchen options were just not readily available for the technology we needed to freeze everything properly. But I think commercial kitchens, incubators, accelerators can be a great path as you're trying to create kind of proof of concept, to get some early wins that can help set the stage for outside investment should you choose to go that route or anything like that. So for us, we had to go right to co-manufacturing, which was a process in itself. Like, we've probably screened over 100 facilities, making sure that they were able to appropriately produce the food. But like, to Fred's point, at some point we may go the route of building a plant of our own, but we're not there quite yet.
And I would say too, just from advice out there, what we did, and this is all because of Pratik's experience too, we heavily invested in our packaging and branding. That is one of the most essential parts of this business, because retailers, the buyers, they want to make sure that you're seen on the shelf and people visually seen. And so people look at your product and your packaging, people buying it. And so we heavily invested in that early. And I think that's been a huge key for us in our success.
Now, I can't ask them everything that comes to my mind, you guys, because I have to save some questions for David Never Sleeps when they go on there, and EYL and every other platform. And, they'll say, Kellen, man, sometimes you ain't got to ask everything. Save some for us. But I will say this, you guys, share this game because it'll change somebody's life. I want to, you guys have the last words and, close it out. If there's any encouraging advice, or anything that we haven't touched on, share it with the people, because I know if they're like me, they're going to be bothering the managers at the food store shortly.
Yeah, I'll let you lead and add.
Yeah, I mean, I would say my advice to entrepreneurs is just like start and don't be discouraged. I think particularly today, entrepreneurship can be glorified. So you see all of the fun parts, you see us being on awesome podcasts like this, but you actually don't see us like sweating it out, doing the FedEx runs and dry ice runs, like all of the things behind the scenes. And so know that like entrepreneurship is a lot of work, but it can be so rewarding. I was in corporate for my whole career, and I'm now a full-time entrepreneur, and it's been like the most rewarding experience of my life, beyond like having a family and kids and all that stuff. So I'd say don't be discouraged, and just, I think it's also important to surround yourself with a community of people who can kind of have your back as you're going through it. Because I'm lucky enough to have my husband as that partner, so he knows all the details of the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I think put a solid village around you as you're on that journey, and then don't give up if it's something you really want to pursue.
Yeah, and I would, mine was going to be kind of similar to that, but I'll give it a little different perspective now. And I think one of the biggest things, so we launched during the pandemic, right? And so we had this grand idea. We knew the food tastes good, but accessing the retail is a little more difficult because they started to hone in because of, the pandemic and people over ordering and these just things. And so the shelves got cleared. Logistics went bad, hard to get food. So all of these things happened during the pandemic, but we, were able to pivot. And, a lot of that comes from Pratik and I sitting down talking and her having ideas and bouncing them off each other. But be flexible. You might have the best idea out there, but sometimes you might have to get to that best idea later. As an entrepreneur, be flexible, be able to pivot, be able to change on the whim, because that may be what makes your business successful or failure, not being able to be flexible.
So you're saying that's who bought all your product, Trump. The shelves are empty. That's who bought all the stuff. He was tired of McDonald's and the shelves are. I got you. You guys have been blessed with the game again. Share the game. It will change somebody's life. Be blessed, y'all.